Hey Neapolitans, Neapolitan gal here. Well, today I want to talk about the elephant in the room right now. We've had two mass murders in the past week, one in El Paso and one in Dayton, Ohio. And the elephant in the room is gun control. Now, I am neither for or against gun control. I think our current laws as they are fine. The trouble is with now obviously these two guys, I think they legally had their guns, but the real trouble with gun control is, okay, we eliminate AKs, assault rifles, whatever it may be. That's fine. No one really needs an assault rifle other than the military and law enforcement. But as we start relinquishing our rights to own guns, to bear arms, to protect ourselves, as we start relinquishing those rights, the only thing we're doing is making ourselves unarmed, and criminals will always have access to weapons. There's no two ways about it. The criminal element, you could say, well, we've learned it with drugs, that it's illegal to have XYZ, that it's illegal to have any firearm. Well, guess what? It's illegal. It will become illegal for you and I to have these firearms or firearms in general, but that does not address criminals. Criminals, you can tell them no, 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 all you want, but they will always have a weapon. And it's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. You can say no more guns allowed. All that's going to do is make a black market for them. And they're already on the black market. That's how people get guns that otherwise couldn't walk into a store and buy one. They can get one off the streets, they can get them the black market, and saying no isn't going to stop these people. Only thing it's going to do is disarm you and I. I'm not armed, but it's going to disarm the people who legally have their guns, who legally have a right to own guns and to have them in their homes. And it's going to put guns, yeah, those guns would be off the streets. They're not even on the streets. They would be in possession of law enforcement to be resold in an auction or melted down. But that still doesn't get those firearms off the streets that criminals constantly deal in. Only thing it does is it takes guns away from law-abiding citizens that have a right to own them. That at that point would no longer have the right to own them because these people keep going in and killing people. Now, I understand the need to disarm. I have a child in high school. The high school is not secure. They are secure once the bell rings, but until that bell rings, that is a wide open campus. You can come and go as you please on any part of that campus, and it may be a while before you're stopped. I walked into his office one day before office hours because he had left his glasses or something at home. So I took him over before the school bell rang. I walked right in. And what you're supposed to happen is you're supposed to have this box on the wall, in all of our campuses, which we do. It's a box on the wall, and you walk up to this box, and it has a camera on it, and you push a button below that camera. You talk to the person in the office, because supposedly all the doors on the campus are supposed to be locked, and the only way in is through this box. You talk to a person on the box, and then you show them your license, and they decide whether you can come in or not. But what is not happening is that before office hours, that's not taking place. So yeah, so it's a little disconcerting that all the measures we've put in place to protect our children aren't being taken care of, and it's scary. But again, making laws against owning guns but against buying guns isn't protecting anyone. Only thing it's saying is that people who do not already have a gun in hand, who intend on doing damage, who intend on trying to buy, who intend on going through the correct channels, going to a store, going through the background checks, as long as there's no markers there that they're a bad person, and they're still willing to go through that even though their intentions are bad, these people are still going to get the guns in the hand. They're going to get them through the black market. They're going to get them off the streets. They're going to walk up to a thug on the street and say, hey, you got a gun I can buy. And, if the Benjamin is crisp enough and they got enough other dough in their hands, that gun's theirs. So, we could say, yeah, let's disarm America, but the only thing you're disarming are the law-abiding citizens. If someone really wants to do damage, they're going to get a gun, if that's their modus operandi. There's a guy in California last night, stabbed and killed people, and that was a stabbing. There was no gun involved. So what's next? We're going to take away our steak knives? We're going to take away fillet knives? Any sort of knife that we might need for one thing or another. Where would it stop? Bows and arrows? All of a sudden the Boy Scouts can't use their bows and arrows. They can't use their BB guns. What I think should happen is, and unfortunately it would have to be geared so that law enforcement maybe wouldn't be affected by it, but still, I think along with the antennae that you walk through when you go to a retailer, this unfortunately would only work for venues that have a station to walk through available, is that maybe you walk through these antennae and not only are they checking for the security tags on products, but they're also sending a jamming signal to your gun. But that's way far in advance in the future for something like that to happen. But at some point, or maybe send a signal to the gun and it zaps you on the hip or something, or zaps you if you're carrying it, making you jump or drop it or whatever. But yeah, there's only so much that we can do to make these gun laws protect everybody without taking away from other people. It's just definitely, if you see something, say something. If you see something on social media and it doesn't seem right, say something before whatever is being threatened happens. If you are in an area and you are armed and somebody else who comes in fully armed starts shooting, take them out. Deal with the consequences later. If you have to kill one person to save all the people that they were just about to kill, go for it. I'm not telling you go out and kill people, but you know what I mean. See, that's the thing in Florida. In Florida, if you feel personally someone is threatening your life, if they're standing in front of you with a knife or a gun, they're going to kill you, and you have an opportunity to kill first, go for it. If they start beating the hell out of you and you get a hold of any sort of weapon, you can do it. Texas, I believe, has the same rule, but once they're running away from you and fleeing the area, you can't. But I understand as a mother of a teenager, well, hell, as a mother in general, they're not taking into account the age of any of these kids anymore when they're going in schools and shooting, when they're going into shopping centers and shooting, when they're going into open crowds and shooting. So, but as a mother of a teen and as the aunt of a handful of 20-somethings that go to all these venues and stuff, I always worry. I worry like there's no tomorrow. And I mean, if I go to a concert, I go to one place in the area that does concerts. If I go to the concert, I'm in there with a bunch of rednecks, and I'm, you know, no one's armed. At least no one should be in there armed. But that's not to say that there's 4,000 of us standing in there on the dance floor listening to a concert that someone's not pushing their way through that front door. So whenever I go to concerts or any place like that, you know, yes, I worry. I watch my surroundings. I pay attention to what's going on around me. But you could pay attention to everything under the sun, and if someone is still intending on killing someone, it's going to happen. So I'm saying, don't ban guns. Don't make more reform on guns. If they feel that they need to take away assault rifles. Again, any type of gun you get off the street, or you get out of people's homes, you've not totally won, because for every gun that's legally owned that now is illegal to own, there are 5 more or more on the street to that one single gun. It's like the python hunts we have here in Florida. They have people going out into the Everglades. They get a couple of hundred snakes a year at most. You know, that sounds like a lot of snakes until you look up pythons. A female python can lay up to 100 eggs per clutch. That means if they go out and get a couple of hundred snakes a year, that's 1, 2, maybe 3 whole nests of snakes are gone. That's it. And there's probably millions out there now. And I'm pointing that way because for me, that's where the Everglades are. They are just a few miles to my east from where I'm sitting. So, you know, we have the token python hunts. They go out and they kill a few hundred pythons a year, if that. But in the grand scheme of things, for that one python female especially that has been out there, if she's laid even 1 clutch of eggs, okay, you've killed 1 snake. But guess what? There's at least 100 more miniature hers out there, you know, to that one. So you got 1 finger compared to my whole fist. It's sort of like that. I mean, you take 2 rolls of pennies, dump them out onto the table or your hands. You take 1 out of that. You know, that's 1 snake removed for that whole clutch. So you really have to take things into consideration in the grander scheme of things. Yes, we can make gun reform, we can ban guns, we can get rid of guns, we can say no one's allowed to have guns that are blank. But for every person that we disarm, that we take the guns out of their gun cabinets, that we say no, you cannot have a gun any longer, there are 5, 10, 99 more out there that can get a gun just like that by calling up the right people. So I don't think removing guns from Americans' hands or gun reform is going to do the trick. We're going to have to come up with a way to de-weaponize weapons as people go along. To figure out some way to turn that gun's ability off, make it jam, something like that to send a signal to it. I don't think, you know, it's correct. I don't think that the right solution to any of this right now is disarming. I think right now what needs to happen is figure out a way to correct what's going on, figure out a way to de-weaponize weapons if necessary, because taking guns out of people's hands that legally have a right to own them, that aren't going to do any damage with them other than maybe to an animal or for protection, isn't the answer. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. Also let me know what else you'd like to see. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell, like, share, and comment below again. So this is Neapolitan Gal. My lunch break's over. Time to go back inside.